Hi, everyone. Peace and welcome. This is Journey In. This presentation is brought to you by Urban Mystic. So, as you all may very well know by now, this is a webinar on Astro-Futurism shifting into the Age of Aquarius. So, on the agenda for today, we're going to be working through 4 segments. The Age of Aquarius, where we'll define the Age of Aquarius. We'll talk about what makes an age, how long is an age, does this affect just people in certain areas or certain signs, the Aquarian archetype, its planetary rulers, the astrology stuff we're going to get out of the way first. And then we're going to move into futurism, which is more like a sociological approach to the Age of Aquarius, which, spoiler alert, Aquarius is the water bearer, but also is a humanitarian sign. So I'm not going to say humanitarianism isn't associated with other signs, but it's heavily prominent in the Aquarius. And then so futurism, we're gonna just talk about those concepts, the concepts of the future, creating the future. Our slogan and tagline here at Urban Mystic is discover your brilliance, create your reality. So we get to see, we can look in the past at things and how the future was envisioned, our present moment, which was the future to people of the past, how that applies, and just the future of things, the future of culture, and the like. Following futurism, we're going to get into the thick of it with technology, and we're going to talk about not just AI, not just artificial intelligence. We're going to go back to the beginning and explore and discover what technology means, what it meant back in the day, what it means today, what it will mean in the future, and what it basically has always meant. My biggest thing with technology, and of course we'll get into it more, is that and this ties in, of course, with the Age of Aquarius, is intuitive intellect. Not just that, but artificial intelligence, and there's intuitive intelligence or organic intelligence, original intelligence. And how they cross over, how there's duality to what we call technology today. Spiritual technology and worldly technology. We can separate it that way. Then we're going to talk about Astro-Prosperity. So how you can implement knowledge of all of this futuristic, technological, astrological, like what can you really do with it? Like, what will awareness of this bring? How will this benefit you? So that's what Astro-Prosperity is really about, integrating knowledge of self into creating a life of abundance. So I appreciate you for sticking through and joining me on this. I hope you find it insightful. All right, so the Age of Aquarius. This is a 20,000 year or so, approximately 20,000 every 20,000 years. Our solar system. Our solar system, and not a planet, not just the sun, but the entire solar system, because everything is everything. There are things within there are millions, and I don't even know how many galaxies there are, but there are a lot of galaxies. So in our solar system, within our galaxy, we're going through Aquarius, the constellation of Aquarius, because the constellation of Aquarius is not within our solar system, it's within the Milky Way. Okay? So, as our solar system transits through this constellation, our collective objectives will be mirrored in human activity. And so we should also note that because we're going into the age of Aquarius, that means we're leaving the age of Pisces. So when it comes to the ages, they go counterclockwise. And the age of Pisces was a time of where the ideology, the collective ideology, was very, I don't even want to say idealistic, because Aquarius can be, and every sign has their ideals, right? Um, but the word that is used to describe Age of Pisces is martyrdom. And, we had this figure who was the martyr of for humanity, died for our sins type shit. So now in the age of Aquarius, individualism is going to be at the forefront. So there's like this duality to Aquarius where they're very people focused. They love people. They love being around people. They love experiencing different types of people. But also they're very individualistic, where it's like, and it's crazy because I've heard some who know each other, some don't. Such as like my sister has said this. She's a double Aquarius, Aquarius rising and sun, and she probably has other placements, maybe. But I've heard Aquarians say, like, just really express like strong disdain, distaste, just not liking when others try to fit in. Like, I feel like it makes their skin crawl. um, so individualism, authenticity, personhood is going to be at the very, and it's very, thought focused. This is a age of thought leadership and innovation, and we'll get in more into that in just a moment. But overall, the age of Aquarius is a 20,000 year transit, approximately. So we're all gonna come up in it and we're gonna leave in it. um so moving on, the Aquarian archetype. So three themes that I just pulled out because there's so much with Aquarius. Because I feel like the signs that have two rulers, like, I don't want to say they're complex, they're super complex. They're not super complex, but there's more of a duality to them than, let's say, a Leo. Leo's ruled by the sun and only the sun, so which, now that I mention it, that's the opposite of Aquarius. But yeah, so the Aquarian archetype is associated with radicalism. So like I said, like being different, not even just being different for different sake, but for freedom, the freedom to be different, the freedom to be who you are and allow others to be who they are. Innovation. Introducing new thoughts, new technologies, new inventions. Because sometimes, technology, and we'll get into this more in a few moments, um, but a lot of times technology is at the forefront of innovation, and innovation could be anything. Innovation could be, a system. And hence, like, I think the beautiful thing about Aquarius and being in the age of Aquarius is that we're all gonna see, like, oh, like, nah, like, I am actively creating my reality every moment of every day. Every second of every day I'm creating my reality, and it's kind of like a reverb. You you don't have to, but it's it doesn't hurt to think of it that way. All right, so also Reformation. So, with radicalism and innovation comes reformation. So, things that are not working, it's just not working anymore. Let's do something else. Let's try this instead. That's kind of the Aquarian approach. Aquarius is also ruled. The planetary rulers of Aquarius are Saturn and Uranus. Aquarius is a fixed air sign, which means it is in the middle of the season of winter. So it's air, it's fixed, it's masculine, humanitarian. I like to say that not air. Aquarius is probably the most grounded of all the air signs. Like, especially with this planetary rulership. Because think about it, we have Gemini ruled by Mercury. That's as flighty as it gets. Um, and no shade to the Geminis if my Geminis are here, no shade. It's like I get it, we get it. Mercury in an air sign, and a mutable air sign at the end of the season, of course, but. And then you have a Libra, which is a cardinal sign, gets things going, but also ruled by Venus. So, they're not necessarily the most serious sign. Like, they don't take like too serious. And we're talking about the energy, right? But when it comes to Aquarius and their planetary ruler, its planetary rulers, you have first Uranus. Uranus is also known as the awakener. It's associated with knowing, it's associated with occult research. It's the planet that gives Aquarians their quirk. It's the planet that gives to innovation. It governs faculties of curiosities, invention, and investigation. Now, something to note is Uranus is older than Saturn. Like, Saturn is known as the father planet, but Uranus is the planet behind Saturn. And so a lot of wisdom comes from Uranus, and not necessarily there is wisdom with Saturn, but that wisdom that makes you change your perspective on things it's like a higher octave. I'm not sure if Uranus is a higher octave of Saturn. I think it's a higher octave of a different planet. I think it's a higher octave of Jupiter. But it rules the ankles, intuitive intellect. Uranus is also associated with creating upheavals, or known for creating upheavals that may be a necessary break from restrictions in favor of a more liberated path. So it's kind of like interesting how Saturn, the planet of limitations, and Uranus come together to parent essentially the Aquarius sign. And another very interesting thing that, really it comes as no surprise that, one of the planetary rulers at least would have this kind of influence. But Uranus also has dominion over radioactive materials in general and wireless communication. So, radioactive materials, like, I thought that was interesting and it kind of caught me off guard when I saw it, um, in researching. But it makes more sense now because radioactive is quirky. It's quirky behavior. Radioactive material, that's quirky behavior, that's not normal. It's gonna change up the structure of something, if whether that is the body, um, whether that is, materials that it comes into contact with, things like that. So, and the fact that wireless communication is looped in, like we're all going wireless. There's 5G, that we really been quiet about lately. I'm not too woo woo about it, but that is something to keep in mind, is that 5G towers, all of that, those towers has been up. I actually knew someone who was working towers, like testing them, like driving out to different places across the country, testing out the towers and the connection. And yeah, they in the fields too, in rural areas. Um, and so just to follow up with a more visual depiction of Uranian um, influences are coffee. Just like I was talking about, like radioactive materials, coffee is damn near a radioactive material for real. Like it really makes you go, it makes you go zoink. Like it gives you that kind of feeling because it's a stimulant. I believe kava kava is a stimulant too. I've never had kava kava. I'm interested though. My curiosity is piqued. Um, but I think like if we're trying to see like what's the Uranian effect, like you have to think about it, like not just you drinking coffee, but I'll tell you a brief story. It's not even a story, but my daughter was like a year and a half, maybe two. I feel like she was like a year and a half though. And I had this iced coffee. It came in a carton. Dairy, y'all. I'm sorry. But it came in a carton. And I like to get this because it was just so strong. Like I knew I was going to be zooted. I knew I was going to be able to like just move around. Um, and like just have that energy boost. So I'm making it. I'm pouring it. And she's in my arms while I'm doing it. She's reaching for my glass. I let her have a sip, y'all. I let her have a sip. She was bouncing off the walls for the next like hour and a half. Like I literally had never seen her like that. And she was like screaming, but not like a regular scream. Like she was just shrieking just to hear her voice shriek that high. So that's the Uranian effect. And I'm glad that it's balanced out by Saturn, to be honest with you. So also we have firecrackers. These are depictions. So you got the firecrackers. You got the amazonite. It's a good crystal to kind of calm down. A lot of times, like when you see a crystal, it's either gonna amplify the qualities of something or soothe the qualities of something. A lot of times, like if you're overstimulated, you need to be soothed. Just like if you're on the phone all the time or around technology all the time, external technology all the time, then you need to take a break and you need to go outside and sit in the sun and breathe in the fresh air, right? Um, Uranus is also associated with liberty. So I put the Statue of Liberty here. And I mean, all the things that make you, when you think of Aquarius, you think, oh, different. They always like they wanna do different and they wanna do their own thing. They don't wanna follow rules, which is not true. Like I don't think that. Like, I feel like Aquarians are one of the few signs that really care about following the rules. Like, but they'll also break them too on the. But let me not out y'all. But it also rules the aura. Uranus also rules the aura and Wi-Fi, or wireless connection, as I mentioned before, wireless communication. So us talking like this, you being able to watch this video connected to Wi-Fi, that's Uranian energy. Lastly, what I'm gonna say about Uranus is that it also gives way to like detours. You know, like yeah, you're traveling down this road, you're traveling down this route every day. It's gonna be that detour that you know makes you discover a new place, makes you, makes you drive past, a grand opening spot or something, and you're like, oh, and then you go and or maybe have your first date or have brunch with your homies and it's just the instance that would not have happened if you did not take that detour. So that's what I have on a Uranus. We're getting into Saturn, Big Daddy Saturn, which is currently in retrograde in Pisces until 2024. Is it 2024? I have to double check that. But it is planetary rulers to both Aquarius and Capricorn. So you can see like, okay, if Pluto, I mean not Pluto, if Saturn and Uranus were not parenting, if Saturn was only parenting a Earth sign by itself, beginning of. And the cool thing about it is like the rule is like they like kin. Aquarius and Capricorns, they really like kin because they both got the same daddy. Same daddy, different moms type shit. So anyway, Saturn rules both Aquarius and Capricorn. It rules karma, tangible rewards, ambition, task mastery, focus and concentration, authority, discipline, rules and regulations, control, and denial. The other thing is it also rules limitations, setting time limits on our goals, and also occult knowledge. So it's kind of like, I don't even want to say yin and yang. It's just like a continuation of the research that happens, the occult research that happens with Uranus is continued and integrated with Saturnian awareness. So Saturn rules time, as I said before, restrictions, karmic debt, teeth, bricks. It's ruled by patchouli knots, labor. Smoky quartz is a good stone to use when channeling Saturnian energy. So I put these images up here so that you can see with your own eyes. Because you think, oh, planet over there, out there, not even over there, out there. So Saturnian energy, karmic debt. You have this funky planet Uranus, and then you have this really stern planet of Saturn, and they come together and they make an Aquarius. Okay. But yeah, like I like to think of like brick by brick, like that's the turning energy we're going to be building. That's where the reform comes from. The reform, the innovation, and the rebelliousness of Uranus is implemented into the reformation of by Saturn. Okay, we're going to go build a new building over here for this purpose with, all sustainable materials, and we're not going to get ourselves too far in debt. We're going to stick to our budget. We're going to have ethical labor and things like that.